The social media post from March 30, 2026 outlines a high-stakes ultimatum regarding the ongoing military conflict between the United States and Iran. In the message, Donald Trump claims that the U.S. is currently engaged in serious discussions with what he describes as a new and more reasonable regime to bring an end to military operations. He reports that great progress has been made toward a deal, though he emphasizes that such an agreement must be reached shortly to avoid a significant escalation. A primary demand in the post is the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz for global commerce, which Trump insists must be open for business without delay. The rhetoric shifts sharply as he threatens that if a deal is not finalized, the U.S. will conclude its military presence by completely obliterating Iran's critical infrastructure. Specifically, he names electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island as targets, while suggesting that desalination plants could also be destroyed. Trump frames the potential strikes as a direct response to decades of perceived hostility, emphasizing that the U.S. is no longer willing to tolerate attacks on its personnel or interests in the region. By explicitly naming critical civilian and economic infrastructure, including power plants, water facilities, oil wells, and strategic sites like Karg Island, he signals that any failure to meet U.S. demands could have devastating consequences for Iran's ability to sustain everyday life and economic activity. The rhetoric underscores a broader strategic shift, portraying these actions not merely as tactical responses but as a decisive closing statement to America's regional presence. In his post, Trump stresses that the U.S. has exhausted diplomatic avenues, and any delay or resistance could trigger a rapid and comprehensive escalation. This framing is intended to convey both resolve and urgency, aiming to pressure Tehran into compliance while signaling to allies and adversaries alike that the U.S. remains capable of executing wide-ranging operations. Despite the confident tone of the post regarding serious discussions, the diplomatic reality remains complex and contested. While the U.S. narrative points toward a breakthrough with a new regime, Iranian officials have continued to publicly deny that any direct negotiations are taking place. This disconnect leaves the international community watching the Strait of Hormuz closely, as the threat to Iran's energy and water sectors has already begun to impact global oil markets and regional stability.
Then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.